got my pen, I've got my old Taylor Swift bookmark, I have my book. I'm ready to go. Hey there, my name is Anneleen and I'm going to be reading Anne of the Island by Lucy Maud Montgomery. As you might know, I'm currently reading all of the Anne of Green Gables books, mostly because Netflix cancelled Anne with an E and I'm still sad about it. And I am vlogging my whole process. So I first started off with an unboxing of all of the books that I bought. I had already read the first book before I came up with this idea, so I started reading the second book immediately and vlogged that. I also gave some of my thoughts, so you can watch both of these videos somewhere up here. I have a playlist that you can watch if you want to watch both. And now I'm going to start the third book. I don't know anything about this book. I am going to keep repeating this, but I have no background on Anne of Green Gables whatsoever, other than book 1, book 2, and Anne with an E. And Anne with an E stops like basically halfway through book 1. So I know close to nothing about what's to happen, other than Anne and Gilbert end up together, and I'm very happy that we already have some evidence on this cover that this is where we will finally see them get together. Or maybe they just kind of like each other more. or do they get together? I'm not sure. I will keep you updated on this. So how this video is going to go, I am going to first just take you on my journey of reading this book. It's going to be a casual vlog, so make a cup of tea, get some snacks, and then enjoy watching this relaxing vlog. And then after that, in about like 5 or 10 minutes for you, I guess, I will also give my final thoughts on this book, as I did with the second book, Anne of Avonlea. I think I said everything I wanted to say. For the first time in my life, I actually practiced this vlog. So I had already said everything I just said without recording, and I feel really proud about that. I hope that it shows. I hope that there's less jump cuts and things like that. I'm going to start reading this, but first I need to do something very important. I need to write my name in this book. So everyone knows that this is mine, and mine alone. Yeah, that came out better than last time. I'm proud. Angry smiley, sad smiley, negative smiley. Anne is being rude. I already have some Anne likes Gilbert things going on. I'll just mark it down. Diana knew exactly what Anne thought of Charlie Sloane, but despite sundry confidential talks, she did not know just what Anne thought of Gilbert Blythe. To be sure, Anne herself did not know that. Cute. Do you like my vintage dress? It's homemade, I believe in the 70s, and it's really soft and it reminds me of dear Anne. They're talking about Billy Andrews right now, and he is so different than in Anne with an E. In Anne with an E, he's this really mean boy, and in the books, he's just this kind of shy and quiet little guy. I mean, he's not little, he's a few years older than Anne, but he's just really sweet. It even says, like, did anybody ever think about Billy Andrews? Like, he's not a very interesting person in this book, I feel. But who knows? We've only seen him like once or twice, so we'll see how this goes. It's a lovely day out, so I decided to come to the park. This isn't as much a park as it is just like a field in between like 4 streets, a block of 4 streets. I'm not very far into this book. I'm at chapter 10, page 86, and I have to say, I think I'm enjoying this one a little bit more than the last one, because it is very much centered around romance, and I know that's a little bit silly. I'm usually not very into like romance novels or anything like that, but I do like some juicy drama in like high school dramas or like those kind of teenage TV series. I still am a sucker for it, even though I'm maybe a little bit too old for that, but still. And you know, Anne just got her first proposal from Billy Andrews, and she did not like it. She got her second proposal from Charlie Sloane, and she didn't like it, and I do like that we have some interesting developments like that. So I'm excited to see what comes next. I finished reading Anne of the Island yesterday, and I have to say I liked it more than I liked Anne of Avonlea. So this is my little review. I was tricked by the cover. I was so tricked by it. If you know this book, you will know how tricked I was. I also was tricked by the blurb because it mentions Roy Gardner, handsome Roy Gardner, who seems to have stepped out of her dreams. I totally forgot about him after I read the blurb, started reading, and then forgot about him because he only appears 200 pages in. 202 pages in, to be precise. This book is only 300 pages long. This book is full of romance. I usually don't read romance novels. I feel like I have been conditioned to think of them as lesser than other books, but I really enjoyed this one, and there isn't even romance in the and he took me out on a date and I was so excited. It's not like that. It is a very slow burn. It is a very slow burn. So if that's your kind of thing, here you go. I do like that Anne got a lot of proposals. I did not expect that, to be honest. Not to say that she isn't desirable or something like that, but how fast were proposals given back then? I feel like everyone was just proposing to everyone. What? I think she declined like 4 people because they all just kind of came out of nowhere or like, will you marry me? She was like, no, I barely know you. Which I thought was strange. I guess this, as I mentioned with the last vlog, which you can watch here if you want to see that, it is obvious that this book is 100 years old, although I feel like it is less obvious with this one. It's mainly just the proposals that are whack. Most of the other things seem more as they are nowadays, but it does have these traditional values of like, a woman needs to marry a man and a man needs a woman to keep the house, that kind of stuff. But it wasn't too in your face or alienating. I especially loved the second half of this novel when Anne and her friends rent a house instead of boarding at a boarding house. Because that's when we really get to know the other characters as well, which was really nice. Also, again, like in Anne of Avonlea and Anne of Green Gables, all of these characters have such distinct personalities. Like, they're such stereotypes or caricatures, but that makes them so much fun. I really liked, I don't know how to pronounce her name. I will write it here and I will attempt my pronunciation. I would read this as Aunt Jamesina, but I have to admit that while I was reading it, I could never settle on a pronunciation, so I just kind of skipped over it. Actually, most of the time I read it as Jamesina, which I know makes no sense, but that's how I read it. I especially liked her. She was a really nice character. She's this old lady, but she is not one to be messed with. She speaks her mind. She acts as if she's a lot younger than she is. Like her spirit, her mind is a lot younger. But she also says things like, "Oh, my values are not the same as the younger people's values, and they're probably worse, but they're my values, and I'll just keep them because I'm too old to change them," which I think is actually a very refreshing thing. Just this old woman acknowledging that she's not right. She probably isn't right, but you know, she can still hold on to her values. Also, her values aren't too bad. She was a little bit old-fashioned, but there was nothing inherently wrong with her values, I feel. Even for today's standards. She just wanted that people would behave. Gilbert. You might have noticed from my vlogs that I do believe that Anne and Gilbert will end up together, and that I am desperately waiting for it. And I thought that this was going to be the book. And it barely is. Ooh! As I said, this cover, it tricked me. I thought, right off the bat, Anne and Gilbert time, no. No such thing. Not at all. But it was actually really nice to see, because it is very obvious also to Anne that Gilbert likes her. And she's just kind of doubtful, and she really does not want to give up their friendship. She isn't head over heels for him. She's just like, I like this guy and I just want him to be my friend. She has these complicated feelings, which I thought were really nice to read about, because she can be, you know, when someone talks about Gilbert, she's like heart eyes. And at the same time, she's so mad at him. And I liked that complexity. I liked that she wasn't just like, oh, he's so dreamy. Or that she wasn't just like, oh, he sucks. It was very complicated, and she definitely sent him mixed signals. And I like to believe that she knew that she was sending him mixed signals, and also kind of felt bad for it. Also, one of the characters that I really liked was Phil. She first gets introduced as this almost crazy girl who only talks about boys. She has two beaux, as they say, Alec and Alonso, and they are vying for her hand. But she just can't decide. She's indecisive. She likes them both equally, and I thought that was such a funny bit. And it kept on going as well. I thought that, you know, suddenly she would have fallen for one more than the other, but no, just keeps on going. She just can't decide until, of course, she meets someone else. She's introduced as this very superficial girl as well. Like, she cares a lot about looks and money. She's also very nice and very smart. So it's not like she was only talking about looks or boys or things like that. But it is definitely a big part of her personality. And then she completely changes when she goes on holiday and meets the man of her dreams, who she had never expected to be the man of her dreams. And it's really nice to see that change, that she actually marries out of love and forgets all about Alec and Alonso, where she just admits to herself, like, I cared about being rich and about being pretty, and I had never imagined that I would fall in love with a plain man who's not very attractive and who's not very rich, and yet here I am desperately in love and I want to marry him. And I thought that was really sweet. It's a nice message. Anne is pursuing her dream to become a writer a little bit in this novel, which is really sweet to see. It's just sprinkled in there. It's not a huge plot line or anything. She's just kind of writing stories and maybe sending them out to magazines and newspapers so that they could be published. Like, I love that about historical fiction. Well, this isn't exactly historical fiction. It was contemporary, it is historical now. At one point, she wins a prize for a competition. The competition was to write a story which featured a brand of baking powder. And she wrote something, well, actually, Diana wrote something, and she won. And it was kind of fun to see that, like, this is actually influencer culture 100 years ago. And she got paid like $25, and I mean, it seemed as if that was a large amount, but I had no idea how much that actually was. So it was really nice to see those things existed back then. This is a very fun read. It is so easy to go through. I feel like in this novel there's a little bit more of an overarching plot as opposed to in Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea. So that was actually really nice. Also, Ruby Gillis. Ruby, my poor Ruby. What happened? Why? But yeah, other than Ruby, I loved this book. I thought it was really good. It had funny moments, it had sweet moments, it had sad moments. It's just such a nice little read. And I can't wait to start reading the next one, which I forgot the title of, Anne of Windy Willows. So keep an eye out for that vlog, which will probably be uploaded in a couple of weeks. What did you think of this book? What were your favorite characters, your favorite scenes? Let me know. I would love to talk about that in the comments below. And I will see you next week. Bye! I guess that's what you get from filming with a music stand as a tripod.